The massive starship Invictus moved quietly through the darkness of space. Its metal hull was dark gray, blending with the endless black around it. Inside the ship, Captain Kim Dae-ho walked slowly across the bridge. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. The bridge was filled with the gentle hum of computers and machines working. Kim Dae-ho was a tall man with short black hair and serious dark eyes. He had been a captain for 15 years. His uniform was clean and pressed, with gold stripes on his shoulders. He stopped near the big window that showed the stars outside. Everything looked peaceful and quiet. "Captain," called Lieutenant Park So-min from her seat at the sensor station. She was a young woman with her hair tied back neatly. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing buttons on her control panel. "I see something strange on the sensors, Mai." Dae-ho turned and walked to her station. He looked at the screen over her shoulder. Many small dots were moving toward them from far away. The dots were getting bigger and brighter as they came closer. "What are they?" he asked in a calm voice. Park So-min pressed more buttons. Numbers and letters appeared on her screen. "I count 47 ships, sir. They are not human ships. The computer does not know what they are." The captain nodded slowly. "Are they trying to talk to us?" "Yes, sir. They are sending signals on many different frequencies. It looks like they want to communicate." Kim Dae-ho walked back to the center of the bridge. "Put it on the main screen." The big screen at the front of the bridge flickered. Then a face appeared. It was not human. The creature had green skin with small scales. Its eyes were yellow and narrow. When it opened its mouth, sharp white teeth showed. The alien spoke in a strange language, but the ship's computer changed the words to English. "Human ship," the alien said. Its voice was deep and angry. "I am Admiral Velthar of the Great Kethron Empire. You are surrounded. Look around you and count our ships. We have 47 warships. You have only one small ship." Chief Engineer Lee Hyun-woo looked up from his station. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes. "Captain, our sensors show they have many more ships than us." Kim Dae-ho did not look worried. He kept his face calm and serious. "Open a channel so I can speak to them." Communications Officer Han Ji-yu pressed buttons on her panel. She was very young, maybe 25 years old. "Channel is open, Captain." Kim Dae-ho stepped forward. He put his hands behind his back and stood straight. "This is Captain Kim of the Terran Federation ship Invictus. You are in human space. I am giving you one chance to turn around and leave peacefully." Admiral Velthar made a sound like laughing, but it was not friendly. "You think one small human ship can fight 47 Kethron warships? Your people are new to space travel. We have been flying between stars for thousands of years. Our technology is much better than yours." The alien admiral leaned forward. On the screen, "I will give you 1 minute to surrender. If you give up now, we will kill you quickly. If you fight, we will make you suffer before you die." Tactical Officer Commander Choi Min-ho stood up from his seat. He was a strong man with broad shoulders. "Captain, they are moving into attack formation. Their weapons are charging up." Kim Dae-ho looked at the screen showing the alien ships. They were arranged in a perfect circle around the Invictus. Each ship looked like it was made from living things instead of metal. Strange lights pulsed along their sides. "How long until they can shoot at us?" the captain asked. "About 2 minutes, sir," replied Choi Min-ho. Kim Dae-ho was quiet for a moment. He looked at each member of his crew. They all looked back at him with trust in their eyes. They believed in their captain and their ship. "Admiral Velthar, Kim Dae-ho said to the screen. "This is your final warning. Leave now or we will defend ourselves. We do not want to fight, but we will if we must." The alien admiral's yellow eyes became angry slits. "Your warnings mean nothing, human. We will show you the power of Kethron biotechnology. Our living ships will tear your metal ship apart." The screen went dark. Admiral Velthar had ended the communication. Park So-min looked at her sensors again. "Captain, all 47 ships are powering up their weapons. They will fire in 30 seconds. Kim Dae-ho walked to his captain's chair in the center of the bridge. It was a large chair made of black leather. He sat down slowly and pressed a button on the arm of the chair. All hands. His voice echoed through the entire ship. This is the captain speaking. We are about to be attacked by alien ships. Go to battle stations. Prepare for combat. Today we will show them what human engineering can do. Red lights began flashing throughout the bridge. The gentle humming sounds changed to a deeper, more powerful sound. The Invictus was waking up, ready to fight. The 47 alien ships moved into a perfect circle around the human vessel. Each Kethran warship was 3 times bigger than the Invictus. Their hulls looked like they were made from giant sea creatures. Strange purple and green lights pulsed along their sides like a heartbeat. The lights grew brighter as the ships prepared to attack. Admiral Velthar stood on the bridge of his flagship. His ship was the biggest of all, with long tentacle-like arms stretching from its sides. He looked at the small human ship on his viewing screen and felt very confident. His scaled lips pulled back in what might have been a smile. "Look how small their ship is," he said to his second-in-command, a female Kethran named Sub-Admiral Kixara. "Our intelligence reports were correct. These humans only learned to travel between stars 200 years ago. We have been doing it for 5,000 years. Kixara nodded her scaly head. She had bright blue markings on her green skin. "Their metal ships are so primitive, Admiral. Our bioships grow and heal themselves. Their ships are just dead metal and circuits." Admiral Velthar walked to his command chair, which looked like a giant shell. "Begin the attack sequence. Charge all plasma cannons. Prepare the boarding pods. We will capture their ship and study their crude technology." All around the circle, the Kethran ships began to glow brighter. Their bioorganic weapons were like the stingers of huge space insects. Bright energy started to build up inside each weapon. On the Invictus, the human crew worked quickly but calmly. Captain Kim Dae-ho sat in his chair, watching his officers do their jobs. Everyone moved with smooth practice motions. They had trained for this moment many times. "Enemy ships are at 90% weapon charge," reported Commander Choi Min-ho from his tactical station. "They will be ready to fire in 40 seconds. Navigation Officer Ensign Yoon Soo-jin checked her controls. She was small and quick, with short hair and bright eyes. "Captain, should I prepare evasive maneuvers?" "Not yet," Kim Dae-ho said quietly. "Let them make the first move." Chief Engineer Lee Hyun-woo spoke from his station at the back of the bridge. "Captain, our power levels are at normal cruise settings. Should I bring the reactors to full power?" "Wait for my order," the captain replied. Lieutenant Park So-min looked worried as she watched her sensor readings. "Sir, I have never seen energy signatures like these. Their bioweapons are very different from anything in our databases." Admiral Velthar's voice came through the speakers again. The alien sounded very pleased with himself. "Human captain, you see how many ships we have. Each of our vessels can destroy 10 ships like yours. This is your last chance to surrender." Kim Dae-ho pressed the communication button. "Admiral, I told you to leave. This is your last warning." "Your warnings are like the buzzing of small insects," Velthar laughed. "Witness the power of the Kethran Empire." The alien ships fired all at once. Bright green and purple energy beams shot through space toward the Invictus. The beams looked like lightning made of poison. They moved fast and left, glowing trails behind them. "Impact in 5 seconds, called out Choi Min-ho. Kim Dae-ho sat perfectly still. His crew looked at him waiting for orders. The captain's face showed no fear, no worry. He looked like he was thinking about something far away. The energy beams hit the Invictus. Bright flashes of light filled the space around the ship. The alien weapons were very powerful. They should have melted through the human ship's hull like hot knives through butter. But nothing happened. The energy beams hit something invisible around the Invictus and disappeared. The human ship sat in space exactly as it had before, completely undamaged. Admiral Velthar stared at his viewing screen. His yellow eyes grew wide with shock. "Impossible. Our plasma cannons should have destroyed them." "Admiral," called his weapons officer, "our sensors show the human ship has some kind of energy barrier around it, but that should not be possible with their primitive technology." Velthar felt the first cold touch of doubt in his chest. Fire again! All ships, maximum power! The Kethran fleet fired a second time. This time they used even more energy. The space around the Invictus filled with deadly light. The alien weapons were so powerful they could have destroyed a small moon. Again, nothing happened to the human ship. On the bridge of the Invictus, Kim Dae-ho finally stood up from his chair. He walked slowly to the center of the bridge. His crew watched him carefully. "Chief Engineer Lee," he said in a calm voice. "Yes, Captain?" "Bring all reactors to full power. Activate all weapon systems." Lee Hyunwoo's hands moved across his controls. "Aye, sir. All reactors coming online." The ship began to change. Deep inside the Invictus, massive fusion reactors that had been sleeping suddenly roared to life. The gentle humming sound became a deep, powerful rumble. Energy flowed through every part of the ship. "All hands," Kim Dae-ho announced over the ship's intercom. "Battle stations. Prepare to show these aliens what human technology can really do." Red warning lights flashed everywhere. The Invictus was no longer pretending to be a simple exploration ship. The Invictus began to change. The smooth gray hull started moving like it was alive. Large sections of metal slid apart with deep grinding sounds. Hidden panels opened all along the ship's sides. What had looked like a peaceful exploration vessel was becoming something completely different. Captain Kim Dae-ho stood in the center of his bridge, watching the transformation on his screens. His face was calm, but his dark eyes were hard as steel. Around him, his crew worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. "Hull reconfiguration complete," reported Chief Engineer Lee Hyunwoo. His voice was steady, but there was excitement in it. "All weapon systems coming online. Where there had been smooth metal before, now there were rows of massive gun barrels. They were bigger than anything the Kethran had ever seen. Each weapon was perfectly designed and built with human precision. The guns moved smoothly as they turned to target the alien ships. Lieutenant Park So-min stared at her sensor readings. The numbers on her screen were climbing higher and higher. "Captain, our power output is increasing beyond anything I have seen before. The energy signatures are off the charts." On his flagship, Admiral Velthar watched the human ship transform. His scaled hands gripped the arms of his command chair. The confident smile was gone from his face. "What is that ship?" he whispered. Sub-Admiral Kixara checked her instruments with shaking hands. "Admiral, our sensors are detecting energy levels that should be impossible. That ship, it is not what we thought it was." The Invictus finished its transformation. Where a simple exploration ship had been, now floated a massive warship. Its hull was covered with weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Energy shields blazed around it like blue fire. The ship looked like a sleeping giant that had finally awakened. "Quantum displacement cannon charging," announced Weapons Officer Lieutenant Commander Park Jin-woo. He was a quiet man who rarely showed emotion, but now his voice carried a note of awe. Even he had never seen this weapon fired in real combat. Kim Dae-ho walked to the big viewing window. He could see the alien ships surrounding his vessel. They looked much smaller now, like tiny fish around a great shark. "Captain," called Communications Officer Han Ji-yu. "The alien admiral is trying to contact us again." "Put him through." Admiral Velthar's face appeared on the main screen. The alien looked very different now. His yellow eyes were wide with fear. His confident voice had become high and worried. "Human, Captain, we did not know. Our information was wrong. We thought your ship was a simple explorer vessel." Kim Dae-ho looked at the alien with no expression on his face. "You were warned to leave. You chose to attack instead." "Wait," Velthar raised his scaled hands. "We can negotiate. The Kethran Empire is willing to discuss terms." "The time for talk is over," Kim Dae-ho said quietly. "You fired on my ship, you threatened my crew. Now you will learn why that was a mistake." The captain turned to his weapons officer. "Target the 3 lead ships. Fire when ready." Park Jin-woo's hands moved over his controls. On his screen, 3 red circles appeared around the biggest Kethran warships. "Targets locked. Quantum displacement cannon ready to fire." Fire. The Invictus fired its most terrible weapon. It was not like the energy beams the aliens had used. This weapon bent space itself. Reality twisted around the three targeted ships. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the three Kethran warships simply stopped existing. They did not explode. They did not burn. They were just gone, as if they had never been there at all. Only empty space remained where they had been, floating. The other alien ships stopped moving. Their crews stared in horror at the empty space where their sister ships had been just seconds before. "Impossible," whispered Admiral Velthar. What kind of weapon was that? His science officer, a young Kethran with trembling hands, looked up from his instruments. "Admiral, I cannot detect any trace of the destroyed ships. It is as if they were erased from existence itself." Navigator Ensign Yoon Soo-jin smiled grimly as she watched the remaining alien ships. "Captain, the enemy fleet is breaking formation. Some ships are trying to retreat." "Do not let them escape," Kim Dae-ho ordered. "All ships that fired on us will answer for their actions." The Invictus began to move. It was not fast like a small fighter ship. It moved with the slow, terrible power of a mountain sliding down a hill. The massive warship turned toward the nearest group of alien vessels. More weapons emerged from the human ship's hull. Smaller guns, but still deadly. They began firing, streams of metal projectiles that moved faster than lightning. The projectiles hit the bioorganic hulls of the Kethran ships and punched through them like they were made of paper. "Their armor means nothing," observed Commander Choi Min-ho. "Our kinetic rounds are going straight through their hulls." One alien ship tried to ram the Invictus. It was a desperate move. The bioship accelerated to full speed and aimed directly at the human vessel. But when it hit the energy shields around the Invictus, it simply bounced off and spun away, its hull cracked and leaking atmosphere. Admiral Velthar watched his fleet being destroyed and realized the terrible truth. The humans had let them attack first on purpose. They had wanted to see what the Kethran weapons could do. Now they were showing what real power looked like. The battle was not really a battle at all. It was like watching a giant step on ants. The Invictus moved through the circle of alien ships with deadly grace. Every time its weapons fired, another Kethran vessel died or was crippled beyond repair. Captain Kim Dae-ho stood calmly on his bridge, watching the destruction on the main screen. His crew worked with smooth efficiency around him. There was no panic, no shouting. They had trained for this many times before. "Gravitational manipulation. System online," reported Lieutenant Park So-min. Her fingers danced across her control panel. "I can use their own speed against them, Captain." "Do it," Kim Dae-ho ordered. Park So-min pressed several buttons. Invisible forces reached out from the Invictus and grabbed two fleeing Kethran ships. The alien vessels were moving very fast, trying to escape, but suddenly their own momentum was turned against them. The gravitational fields pulled them toward each other like magnets. The two bioships crashed together with tremendous force. Their living hulls, which had been the pride of Kethran technology, crumpled like soft fruit. Pieces of organic armor and metal scattered in all directions. Both ships were destroyed instantly. Admiral Velthar watched from his damaged flagship. His bridge was filled with smoke and the screams of injured crew members. Emergency lights flashed red and yellow. Half of his control panels were dark and broken. "Admiral," called his communications officer, blood running down his green-scaled face. "We have lost contact with 36 ships. Only 11 vessels are still responding." Velthar felt sick. He had commanded the greatest fleet in Kethran history. Now most of his ships were floating wreckage or had been completely destroyed. The human ship had done this alone, in less than 20 minutes. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "Our intelligence said they were primitive." His science officer, clutching a wounded arm, looked up from his cracked display screen. "Admiral, our bioarmor is useless against their weapons. Their metal projectiles cut through our hulls like they are made of soft cloth." On the Invictus, Tactical Officer Commander Choi Min-ho tracked the remaining alien ships on his screen. "Captain, 8 ships are trying to form a defensive line. 3 others are attempting to escape." "Target the escapers first," Kim Dae-ho said. "No one who fired on us leaves this area alive." The main guns of the Invictus turned toward the fleeing ships. These weapons were smaller than the quantum displacement cannon, but still incredibly powerful. They fired solid metal rounds that moved at a significant fraction of light speed. The first escaping ship was hit in its engine section. The kinetic round punched completely through the bioship from back to front. The vessel's living hull tried to heal itself, but the damage was too great. It broke apart into floating pieces. The second ship tried to dodge, spinning and turning like a leaf in the wind, but the Invictus's targeting computer was too accurate. The metal projectile caught the ship in its middle section. The bio-vessel folded in half like a broken toy. The third escaping ship almost made it to safety. It was the fastest of the Kethron, vessels built for scouting and quick strikes. But just as it thought it was out of range, a guided missile from the Invictus caught up with it. The explosion lit up the darkness of space. Now only 8 alien ships remained, trying to form a desperate defensive formation. Their bioweapons glowed as they prepared for one final attack. "They are charging all weapons," reported Park So-min. "It looks like they want to go down fighting." Kim Dae-ho nodded with something that might have been respect. "Brave but foolish. Target their weapon systems. Disable them without destroying the ships." "Sir?" Commander Choi Min-ho looked surprised. "We could destroy them easily." "I know," the captain replied. "But I want prisoners. Someone needs to carry word back to their empire about what happened here." The Invictus fired again, but this time with precise, careful shots. Instead of destroying the alien ships completely, the human weapons targeted specific parts. Engine sections were crippled. Weapon arrays were blown away. Communication systems were destroyed. One by one, the remaining Kethran vessels went silent and dark. They drifted helplessly in space. Their crews alive but their ships unable to fight or flee. Chief Engineer Lee Hyun-woo checked his status displays. "All enemy vessels neutralized, Captain. Total engagement time 17 minutes and 32 seconds. Kim Dae-ho looked at the floating wreckage that had once been a mighty alien fleet. 47 ships had attacked the Invictus. Now, only 4 were still intact enough to carry survivors. "Medical teams prepare for boarding operations," he announced over the ship's intercom. "We have wounded prisoners to treat." Admiral Velthar lay trapped under fallen debris on his bridge. His flagship was one of the 4 disabled survivors. Through a cracked viewport, he could see the human warship approaching. He expected death, but instead he saw small shuttles launching from the Invictus. Human Marines in powered armor boarded his ship. But instead of weapons, they carried medical supplies. Instead of finishing off the defeated aliens, they began treating the wounded and clearing debris to rescue trapped crew members. Velthar could not understand it. These humans had the power to destroy his entire fleet, and they had proven it. But now they were showing mercy to their defeated enemies. Commander Choi Min-ho led the boarding party through the damaged corridors of Admiral Velthar's flagship. The human Marines wore thick, powered armor that made them look like metal giants. Their heavy boots echoed on the bio-organic floors of the alien ship. But despite their fearsome appearance, they moved carefully and gently. "Medical team to Section 7. Choi Min-ho spoke into his helmet radio. "We have wounded aliens here who need help." The Kethron crew members cowered in the shadows as the humans passed. They expected to be killed or enslaved. Instead, they watched in confusion as human medics knelt beside injured aliens and began treating their wounds. Dr. Nam Soo-jin, the chief medical officer of the Invictus, worked quickly to save a young Kethran whose leg was crushed under fallen debris. She injected pain medicine and carefully set the broken bones. The alien looked up at her with wide, frightened eyes. "It will be okay," Dr. Nam said softly, even though she knew the alien could not understand her words. Her gentle tone was enough. The young Kethran stopped struggling and let her work. In another part of the ship, human engineers were fixing the life support systems. The aliens had been slowly suffocating as their bioship's breathing organs failed. The humans worked to repair the damage their own weapons had caused. Admiral Velthar was found trapped under a collapsed support beam on his bridge. 2 human Marines carefully lifted the heavy beam while a medic checked the alien commander for injuries. Velthar expected them to interrogate him or torture him for information. Instead, they gave him water and bandaged his cuts. Why? Velthar asked in broken human language. Why help us? The Marine looked at him through his helmet visor. Because that's what we do, he said simply. Hours later, Admiral Velthar found himself in the medical bay of the Invictus. His wounds had been cleaned and bandaged. Human doctors had given him medicine for his pain. He lay on a soft bed, staring at the ceiling and trying to understand what had happened. Captain Kim Dae-ho entered the medical bay quietly. He had removed his formal uniform jacket and looked more like a tired man than a fearsome military commander. He sat down in a chair beside Velthar's bed. How are you feeling? Kim Dae-ho asked. Velthar turned his scaled head to look at the human captain. You could have killed us all. Why did you show mercy? Kim Dae-ho was quiet for a moment. He looked out the window at the stars. Because that is who we are. When someone attacks us, we defend ourselves completely. But when the fighting is over, we help the wounded. We do not kill prisoners. Your ship. It was not what our spies reported. No. Kim Dae-ho smiled slightly. The Invictus is one of our most advanced warships. We disguise it as an exploration vessel when we patrol the border regions. Most of the time, we never have to reveal what it really is. Velthar felt a chill run through his body. How many ships like this do humans have? Enough, was all Kim Dae-ho would say. Dr. Nam Soo-jin approached with a medical tablet in her hands. Captain, the alien survivors are stable. We have treated 43 wounded Kethran crew members. Their ships have been repaired enough to make the journey home. Kim Dae-ho nodded. Thank you, Doctor. He turned back to Velthar. You will be released with your surviving ships. You will carry a message back to your empire. What message? That humanity is not what you thought we were. We are not primitive. We are not weak. But we are also not monsters. We could have destroyed every ship in your fleet and killed every one of your people. We chose not to. Velthar closed his yellow eyes. My empire will want to know about your weapons, your technology. Let them wonder, Kim Dae-ho said. But also let them know this. We do not seek war. We do not want to conquer other worlds. But if anyone attacks us or threatens our people, they will face the full power of human military technology. 3 days later, 4 damaged Kethran ships limped away from the battle site. Their hulls were patched with human repair materials. Their injured crews had been healed by human doctors. Admiral Velthar stood on his repaired bridge, watching the Invictus grow smaller in the distance. The human warship looked peaceful again. Its weapons were hidden. Its hull was smooth and gray. To anyone who did not know better, it looked like a simple exploration vessel. But Velthar would never forget what he had seen. The terrible power hidden beneath that calm exterior. The deadly precision of human weapons. And most surprising of all, the mercy shown to defeated enemies. Admiral, his communications officer called out. We are receiving a final message from the human ship. Put it through. Captain Kim Dae-ho's face appeared on the screen one last time. Safe travels, Admiral Velthar. I hope when we meet again it will be under better circumstances. The screen went dark. Velthar continued to stare at the space where the Invictus had been. He had a long journey home and a difficult report to write. His empire would learn that humanity was not the weak species they had believed. The galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. Behind him, the Invictus resumed its patrol, ready to protect human space from any threat, but always hoping that the next encounter would end in peace rather than war.